Hello, and thank you for joining us and watching this short preview of the Blended Learning Essentials course for Vocational Education and Training. My name is Maren Deepwell. I'm the Chief Executive of the Association for Learning Technology, but I'm here today representing the consortium that put together the course and delivers this course this year. Now, I'm going to show you a preview of the course, tell you a little bit what the course is about, how you can participate, and what we hope you will get out of the course. Now, as I mentioned, I'm here representing a consortium who has delivered this course thus far to a lot of people, but we'll start with giving you a bit of an overview of who this course is for. So we are aiming this course at anyone who's working in further education, skills, training, vocational education, workplace learning, lifelong learning, or adult education. And this course is freely delivered online on the FutureLearn platform and is designed to help you understand the benefits of blended learning and how to make more effective use of technology to support your learners. We are running this course preview to give you a chance to connect and sign up for the next run of the course. So there's two parts to the course. The first one is called Blended Learning Essentials Getting Started, and the next run starts on the 4th of July. And also Blended Learning Essentials Embedding Practice, part 2 of the course, starts on the 3rd of October. If you're joining the session live, you can ask questions on Twitter or also on the YouTube page using the hashtags FLBLE1 or FLBLE2. At the end of the video, we're going to repeat this information, so hopefully it will spark your interest and you'll sign up and join the course. Now, as I mentioned, the consortium I represent leads and funds this course. It's funded by the UFI Charitable Trust and is delivered by a consortium led by Diana Laurillard and Neil Morris from the UCL Institute of Education and the University of Leeds, respectively. But we also have a lot of other partners. As mentioned, I'm from the Association for Learning Technology, and a number of colleges and other associations are also involved in delivering the course. One of the things that makes a real difference with this course is that all of the content and case studies, all of the videos were filmed and produced with and at providers who work across the sector, so that it's specifically for your context that you're working in and delivering learning in. Now, first up, before we go and have a look at the actual course and how to participate, I'm going to give you a short overview of the contents of the course. As I mentioned, it has two parts, part 1, Getting Started, and part 2, Embedding Practice. The course aims for part 1 are to use a range of effective blended learning practices and pedagogies to improve your learner's experience and attainment. Second, to understand how many free and affordable technologies now available can enhance teaching and learning. And finally, to approach new technologies with confidence, designing a pedagogic approach to make the best use of these tools. And indeed, as you will find when you participate in the course, most of the tools and technologies that we're looking at and we're showing you how to use are openly available. Now, part 2 of the course looks at embedding practice. So the course aims here are to integrate new technology into courses and learning and training opportunities, to propose ways in which new technologies can help to address the key challenges in the vocational education and training sector. Looking at technology as a solution, something that is a problem in itself. And finally, to develop your own skills further and to contribute to the sector's community knowledge of the optimal blended learning. Now, to go a little bit into more depth into part 1, Getting Started, you can see on the screen an overview of the 5 weeks. And for each week, there is a specific topic and a number of activities. It's a very interactive course. At the end of the video, we're going to look at how you're going to be able to participate. But I just want to highlight a few of the topics for the different weeks. So week 1 really starts at the beginning, posing the question, why should we focus on blended learning? Week 2, We're looking at preparing for blended learning. So that's where we look at some of the principles of blended learning, assessing one's readiness to get started, and looking at case studies of effective blended learning in practice. In week 3, so that's the middle of the first part of the course, we're getting to grips with systems, tools, and resources. Whether that's a virtual learning environment, a VLE, or online tools, or open educational resources. They're all covered in week 3. Week 4 focuses on designing blended learning. We're looking at the design process, including assessment and feedback, and also flipping the learning in the classroom. Finally, week 5, the last week of this part of the course, we're thinking about teaching for your learners' futures, and really focusing on developing learners' digital literacy and improving access to learning, but also providing flexibility and inclusion. Part 2 of the course then looks at embedding this practice more deeply. Again, each week has a separate topic, a number of activities, and as well, lots of things to get involved in. So week 1, we're looking at learning from experience. Technology doesn't always go right, particularly not first time. So we're looking at lessons we can learn from our experiences, building new activities to test with learners, provide feedback, and improving learning outcomes. In week 2, we're asking the question, what can technology do for the most difficult challenges? That's reaching more learners more flexibly, looking at delivery across an institution, whether that's training, college, or adult learning. We're thinking about supporting independent learning and reducing the costs of innovation. Finally, in week 3, we're looking into the future and planning for a challenging future. So that involves matching your innovation to the needs of your organization, supporting your colleagues in increasing their use of blended learning, and working collaboratively to keep improving. I also want to talk a little bit about why we as a consortium think blended learning essentials is important. And on the screen now you can see a few statements, inspiration. So if you're looking at introducing this course as a way to provide free and flexible CPD within your organization or for yourself, you might find inspiration here. You might also be able to share the screen with your line managers or other senior management within your organization. But for example, one of the lead educators, Diana Laurillard, says that it could be a real boost for innovation in the sector because the course supports teachers and trainers in learning together about blended learning as they experience it themselves. One of the other lead educators, Neil Morris, says that this project and the freely available open courses are hugely important for teachers and trainers to help them make most effective use of digital technologies to improve their learners' success. And the trust who funds all these courses wants to catalyze change in the vocational world, and engaging the professionals who deliver the teaching is a fundamental step in achieving this. And we hope that you will find that these courses play a role in helping you, for example, with challenges like use of technology, which plays a role in the area-based reviews, but also reviewing where your institution is or your organization is in terms of digital literacy, increasingly essentials for teachers, trainers, managers, directors, and governors, but also supporting colleagues and yourself developing the kinds of skills that you need to deliver effective blended learning. Now, over 30,000 individuals have registered for these courses, and here is a preview of what they look like when you actually sign up and get into it. So this is some screenshots of videos that are part of the course, 1 week in embedding practice. And you can see that both learners and teachers from across different parts of the sector have contributed to these videos that were all shot in these kinds of authentic. As well as a range of videos, there's also a lot of activities to go along with it. This is an example of an activity of or going beyond reflection to data. And that's an activity where you consider the use of data in helping us design effective blended learning. As well as a lot of videos, there's a lot of other types of resources, including a lot of reading material, a wiki, a glossary, and also ways like quizzes and tests to help you test how much you've understood of any given topic. So this is an example question of a quiz where you can then get feedback on what the correct answer is and why from one of our lead educators. And there's a range of other types of activities. If this is the first time that you're participating in an online course, don't worry. There's a lot of guidance out there and on the website and within the course on how to participate. But you'll also be able to really expand your horizons in terms of reading materials and finding resources, very practical tools that you can use straight away in your learning context. Each week, as you can see on the screen now, has a very clear structure, and you'll be able to watch welcome videos that guide you through the week, read summaries, but also importantly, comments and discussion with other participants. And as I mentioned before, all of the case studies were filmed by teachers and trainers across the sector in the context that they're delivering the blended learning in. So, for example, this particular video shows how you can use digital technology to change teaching and learning. And this is an example, including learners, that gives you a very hands-on idea of how one particular practitioner translates that into practice. There's also a number of tools like this one, for example, Padlet, that we're using throughout the course, not just to demonstrate how you can use it in learning, but also for you to actually engage in the course. And a lot of these tools are openly available and free to use, so you can get started to experiment straight away. The course can be a really helpful, safe space in which to experiment, try out different things, and not have to worry what happens when things go wrong. You can also share some feedback with colleagues or other course participants who've tried to use the same tool. Now, you might also want to know not just what the course is about, but what it's like to participate. So the next part of the session is going to look at how you participate in the course. To begin with, you will be able to sign up for the course online on the FutureLearn website, and the course will then appear under an area on the website called My Courses. You can complete a profile and interact with other participants as much as you want. And we recommend that the time commitment for this course is about 4 hours per week. But it is flexible, and the course content remains live after the course ends. I think what we found with the participants that have already completed previous runs of the course is that some weeks you might have more time to devote to this course than on others, and that the course content remains available to you even after the week has passed means that you can catch up or go back to things or look up things at any point after the course ends. There's also a lot of resources to help you get to grips with learning online yourself. It is definitely a challenge to learn about how to deliver blended learning online if you're not a very confident online learner, or indeed if this is the first open online course that you're experiencing. So there is help materials on the FutureLearn website and also within the course helping you prepare to learn, giving you tips on how to listen and reflect, assimilating what you learn and then putting it into your practice context, ideas about making notes, for example, summarizing key points, forming your ideas and questions, and also, importantly, how to communicate with others on the course, whether that's about sharing your understanding or questions, or participating in some of the live Q&A sessions. There are a range of resources available on the course. They're very easy to access and easy to understand. It includes videos, audio, and articles. You can review these items on your own time and follow them up by short quizzes to help cement your knowledge. The discussion with other participants is a key part and a very unique feature of this course, as it brings together practitioners from across different job roles, from across the sector, to all help talk about the same topics. And it's a great way also to build your own learning network. We mentioned the quizzes. They're not scored, and you have unlimited attempts to complete them. so you'll get some hints and feedback along the way. And there's also tests and assignments. At the end of the session, we're going to look at some of the pathways to accreditation if you're interested in getting formal accreditation for the course. But one element of the course that I haven't touched on thus far is the digital champions. So these courses are supported by dedicated digital champions who are practitioners from across the sector, and they help you connect teaching and learning professionals who understand the practical, everyday challenges of using blended learning in your particular context. Currently have about 50 to 70 digital champions who are actively involved in running the courses, and they participate in the course as participants. They help facilitate discussion. They also help answer any questions that you may have, point you to resources you may have not discovered. And they also share on a more informal basis than the course content can their own experiences, own tips for tools, and any hints that they might have come across that might find useful. And they're a really key part of keeping this course as interactive as possible. Now, I mentioned there are a number of pathways to accreditation, and I think one of the challenges given this course is for such a broad audience is to provide meaningful pathways to accreditation for every participant. So the approach that we've taken as a consortium is to provide different types of pathways for different types of accreditation options. First, and available to all participants, are FutureLearn statements of participation. These can be purchased via the FutureLearn website at the end of the course. And they're a new standalone way of getting credit for having taken part and completing in the course. You can also get pathways to accreditation via professional bodies. So the association that I represent is one of those, but also the Society for Education and Training. For example, we have mapped this course to accreditation frameworks, including the ALT CMOLD framework and QTLS framework. And also there's paths to accreditation for further study. So whether that's via one of our partner organizations like the Institute, the UCL Institute for Education, or the University of Leeds, there is a number of different options available. And not to forget, the course is also CPD certified. So within the course information and on the course homepages, you'll be able to see how many hours of CPD are accredited for each part of the course, and completing the course, how that relates to your CPD requirement. We hope very much that this will give you a range of options to go on and use this course as a building block for future accreditation options. But also, if you just want to dip in and out and use the course as it really fits within your context, make it more flexible, maybe be very active in one week and just audit or have a look at some of the others. This course is really here to fit around your requirements and meet your needs, and whether those involve formal accreditation or not, the course should still be able to meet your requirements. Now, we're nearly at the end of our session, and I hope you've enjoyed this little preview of the course. And now it's time to sign up. We hope you join us and a growing community of 30,000 registered participants. As I mentioned in the beginning, part 1 starts on the 4th of July, so time to register now. And if you have any questions or would like to join into the conversation now, you can do that via the YouTube comments or on Twitter using the hashtag @FLBLE1. If you want to sign up for the whole run of the course, part 2 is already open for registration and will start on the 3rd of October. Both courses together bring you all the course content that we've just had a preview of. But as I mentioned, it's a flexible course. You can dip in and out. You can sign up for both and then review content of the course when you need to, even after the course has ended. On behalf of my colleagues across the consortium of partners who've designed and are delivering these courses, I'd like to thank you for joining us for the session today.